Hello, guys. This is Lydia, the lifestyle coach. We're coming to you with another live feed and welcome. So fun to see you guys here. Feel free to pop on and likes and hearts and comments and questions and all that jazz. It's really fun to be interactive with you guys here. And, it's just such a joy to see all the ways that you guys are celebrating. I know that in the group, we're just celebrating and there's so much great stuff going on. I just love to see you guys just healing and changing and things getting better for you, the ups and the downs and all of that. So thank you for being an amazing part of this community. And again, hello, this is Lydia, the lifestyle coach, and we are ending eating disorders. And we're going to talk about a topic today that comes up as a really strong theme. We see this all the time. And I know that I was in this exact same position back in my crazy days, when I had an eating disorder, years of binge eating and bulimia. And I don't have an eating disorder anymore. And that's exactly what we do. It's like you don't have to manage your eating disorder for the rest of your life. You can just not have an eating disorder. And I know that may be a novel idea for some of us, but that's just the reality. And we've seen it hundreds and hundreds of times. You can just not have an eating disorder anymore. It's just a habit that you can break. But here is a big thing that a lot of times gets in the way. And it's totally understandable because we have loves and we have passions and we have identities and we have things that are really us. So when those things that feel like us are in conflict with what we're doing or what we want, then that can turn into a big issue. So what we're going to talk about today is really the feeling of, we're healthy people, right? It's one of these things where it's not the way that this is all the time, but a really strong theme is all of these incredibly healthy people who are getting eating disorders and developing eating disorders or have always had eating disorders. And we a lot of times see it as a separate thing, like, oh man, it's so weird that I'm so healthy and I have this eating disorder. But in fact, they're actually really related. So we're going to talk about that today because I know how awful it is to have that feeling of being out of integrity when you really feel like you are a healthy person. So it may look like you're into fitness and health and you love nutrition and you love to know, how the body works, exactly how the metabolism works. You know exactly what happens when you eat this and it turns into that. And in fact, people come to you for advice. They see how healthy you are. They see how healthy you eat. They see, how, just an expert you are at health stuff. So they're coming to you for advice. And your friends all know that you're the one, oh yeah, she won't eat that. You're the healthy one and you love learning about food and you're into healthy cooking and you read books and you follow blogs on health. You spend hours watching videos, not because you have to, because you love it. It's so interesting to you and it's just who you are. It's your passion. You know the nutrition facts of anything. Somebody could hold up some food item and you would know exactly, what's in it. What is that going to do to your body? Is that going to benefit you? Is that going to harm you? The calorie count, good sources of protein. You know it all, right? And you love learning about food and, you're great into, healthy cooking, exactly all the substitutions that you can put in things to make them healthier, to make them still taste great, but, be better for your body. And you also know how awful certain foods are. When you really feel like food is medicine and it's what your body's made of. So it's so important to eat clean because it literally, creates health and it slows aging and it cures disease. And if a friend came to you who said, hey, I just got diagnosed with diabetes, you could coach that friend on exactly how to eat, to balance their blood sugar, to get off of medications, because you know this stuff. That's your identity. That's what you've spent so much passion and time really being able to understand. In fact, you could probably write your own book on life, health, and nutrition, and you know how to eat. You know portions, you know the most healing and healthy foods. And in fact, you've made it your career. You're in this job right now, but you're getting your certification as a health coach because this is your passion. What you really want to do, what your calling here on earth is to help people to change their lifestyles, to heal through food. You're the person that people have always come to, for advice, and you're a great listener and people just really trust what you have to say because you're that healthy person. And doesn't it worry you when you go out to eat with friends and you get this beautiful salad with dressing on the side. And then on the way home, you stop at a gas station and you get ice cream and a whole box of cookies and you eat them in the car. And isn't it frustrating that despite knowing that those things are just poison for your body, and that they teach your body how to store toxic fat, that your pants are uncomfortable because you just keep binging on those very things that you would feel horrified if you ever told somebody else to eat. You would never tell anyone else to eat the way that you do with these weird times when something happens and you just go wild on these foods that you know are so toxic. And you wonder how you're going to hide all the weight that you're gaining while you're teaching your fitness classes, that you look larger every time that people see you, and you're not sure how you're going to be able to hide that. And I mean, what does it really feel like to know how dangerous purging your food is, throwing up the things that you eat, but for the first time, you threw up that loaf of bread that you ate. And then you wonder in your head, like, is it more unhealthy to just eat this toxic food, or is it more unhealthy to eat it and then get rid of it? So that's a situation that we find so often with these amazing people who come to us. And I know, like, I've been at that same place. So you guys, I was one of the most successful health coaches in my industry for a lot of years. I trained over 400 health coaches all around the country to do what I did to help other people. We had over 8,000 clients that we were helping to get healthy. I mean, there was a time that I was actually on the phone with a client, coaching them, because I was a great coach. I am a great coach. Like, I was coaching them about how to get their body into this mode where they would start burning fat as fuel, and I was just so excited to help them because that's what I did. And that's what I just felt so great about. And that's what I was meant to do, right? And how to stay on track, and, how to avoid the carbs that they were eating, and how to not fall off the wagon. And no one knew that I was binging on the very same food that I was giving people tips on how to avoid. And the day after a binge, when I was puffy and just terrified and I felt poisoned by the things that I had eaten, I would talk to clients. And this is literally the experience that I was having as things got worse and worse. Is, you guys, I would talk on the phone with a client and I would coach them on the things that I knew could help their lives. And then knowing what I was doing in my own life, while they were responding to me, I would mute the phone and I would just sob. I'd be like the really panicky sobs of how freaked out I was that I binged right before or the night before that I talked to them. And then I would unmute the phone and be like, okay, great. So what's our plan for keeping momentum in the next week? And then I would give them the next tip. And then when they responded to me, I would mute the phone and I would start freaking out and I would be panicking and I would be sobbing again because I felt so incredibly out of integrity. But I knew that I knew this stuff. Like, I knew that I was a healthy person. I knew that I was somebody who could help other people be healthy. I was a healthy person. It was my identity and my career and my passion and my calling. And I felt like a complete fraud. So ending my eating disorder, especially for those of us who this is really an important passion for us, is to be healthy. Like, that's an incredible priority in our lives. I mean, for me, ending my eating disorder wasn't just a priority. It was literally so I could be in integrity with who I was. I mean, for those of us who really feel like healthy people, the problem is that there's this one thing holding us back. And if we don't fix it, then you can never be yourself. Like, you can never really know through and through that you're a healthy person when you know that you're doing this toxic behavior over and over. And this is something that we hear all the time. So here is the issue. Here is what happens and how that identity of health perpetuates that eating disorder, is that you have this thing holding you back and you're trying to force who you really are and to eclipse these imposter things that you keep doing, right? So it's like, oh, I can't believe that I'm binging. That's so weird. That's not me. I can't believe I did that. I mean, it's like I didn't even do that. It's like I didn't even know what was happening. It really feels disconnected with us because it feels like we're hijacked, because that's not us at all. So what we do is we push harder and we try to eclipse this crazy thing that's happening with just more health identity, with I'm getting more certifications, I'm gonna make my eating even cleaner. Like, we're just trying to make the health thing so big that it pushes out the other thing. But the issue is that the harder that we push and the harder that we work and the more perfectionist we get around this, we're just thinking that's bound to go away if we just push harder. That actually makes us question even more who we are when we do it again. Because we're trying to push so hard and we're trying to ignore the thing that is actually happening. And so it hurts our identity more and more, because when we've tried even harder and then we binge another time, then it just feels really awful to be back in this place where we start questioning, like, well, maybe I'm not a healthy person. So deep breath. And this is the thing that you've got to have in place. You can absolutely own that you are a healthy person. And you can own that you're doing an unhealthy thing. And when we stop ignoring the problem and hoping that it will go away by just pressing harder, and we accept the reality that yes, it's happening. And yes, it doesn't just go away. And yes, I am a healthy person. I know all of this. It's something that matters to me. And I fully own that this is happening. That is when change can start getting momentum. That is when things can start getting better. Because we talk to women all the time that it's been 20 years where they have just been this really healthy person that's been doing this secret thing, and it wears away at their soul. It's absolutely exhausting. But the thing, a big issue that kept them in that cycle for so long was that they kept on thinking it was a fluke. They kept on thinking it was this weird willpower thing. And they tried to just ignore what was going on. No, that can't be right. I'm a healthy person. No, I can't, that must have been something just weird that happened. I'm a healthy person. That isn't what healthy people do. And so because that identity is so strong, they for years, decades, ignore what's going on. So if that identity of like, I am a healthy person is a really true, important one to you, the way to get past that so that you can be through and through, like feel secure in your identity, stop feeling like a fraud, like knowing that, yes, I'm a healthy person that does healthy things even when no one's around, even when it's late at night, like to be able to lay your head on the pillow at night and just feel in integrity with who you are. This is what we hear all the time. And this is a really key thing with the women who get the help they need to be done is I accepted that something was wrong. I accepted that something was wrong. You know, I heard your videos, Lydia, and I realized like, oh my gosh, I think I have an eating disorder. I always just thought it was this weird willpower thing that, you know, I'm a healthy person, so how could I be doing this? Unhealthy people have eating disorders, but I'm a healthy person. But when you accept like, oh, I have an eating disorder. Oh, there's something wrong. As soon as you can put language and ownership around it, then you can start to change it. Now, I don't want you to mistake that with the accepting that now I'm a person with an eating disorder and I always will have one. I completely reject that. We have been able to see that be untrue hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times of women who, you know, just, you know, released and just said like, okay, that's it. I'm a person with an eating disorder. I'm never going to get better. And then they found our method and now they don't have an eating disorder anymore. But we can never fix a problem that we don't see as a problem. I'll say that again. We can never fix a problem that we don't see is a problem. And that's a big success factor of being able to look at what's going on. And if it's not a problem, okay, awesome. High five. Maybe you're just here by accident. But if there is something going on with your eating that if you kept doing for the rest of your life would keep you out of integrity from who you feel like you are, there is a problem there. And so that's the important thing. Instead of trying to just push and try harder and be a healthier person to try to push this thing out of your life, which we've seen people try for 30 years, it doesn't work. You've got to change your focus to really looking at what's going on and accept, yes, there is a problem. There is something happening. And that is the point at which you can get the help that you need because you see that there's something going on. And these are incredibly healthy women that come to us. Yes, you are a healthy person. So much in your life would indicate that. So it's just about being able to get out of this one thing that's keeping you back from really stepping into who you are. And if you would like some help with that, if you don't need to be alone in that. I mean, like I said, I mean, there are thousands of women in this community. We have freed hundreds and hundreds of women from 25 years, 35 years, 40 years of an eating disorder. And these are women that the whole time really felt like they were healthy people. And now they can step into that. If you want help with that, that help is available. We do free sessions at Lydia or lifewithlydia.com/apply. And you can sign up for a free session with us where we're really going to get clarity on what's happening with the problem. And that doesn't mean that anything has to change or that you have to do anything or that you have to accept anything. It just means you can get clarity on what's happening. And then we also get clarity on really what freedom means to you. And then what needs to happen to fill in the gaps. That's it. To close that gap so you can finally be back in integrity. And that's something that we offer our community. And so you can book a session at lifewithlydia.com/apply, and just know that, like, with that identity of I am a healthy person, you can step into that. You can own that while you still look at what's going on. That is a healthy behavior. A healthy behavior is to look at the things that are holding you back and to fix them, because ignoring them never works. So thanks for joining us today, you guys. Again, this is Lydia, the lifestyle coach, signing off. Mwah. Bye.